We toss around the words sin and evil like they're the same thing. But what if they're not? There's a huge difference. And in figuring that out, we might just uncover a much bigger story. This search for order in a world that feels, well, pretty chaotic. So let's just get right to it. I'm willing to bet you've used these words to mean the same thing. A horrible crime is evil. A person who lies sins. But what if there's a distinction there that changes everything? Not just how we see our own actions, but the very fabric of the world around us. All right, first up, sin. To really get this, we have to understand that sin isn't just about making a boo-boo or having a lapse in judgment. Nope. Sin is defined by its direction. It's about who or what it's aimed at. And here's the kicker. While our sins absolutely harm other people, no question about that, the primary offense is seen as vertical. It's aimed straight at God. When Joseph was tempted in the Old Testament, he didn't say, how could I do this terrible thing to my boss? He said, how could I sin against God? The ultimate offense is against the very creator of order itself. And if you want a powerful example, look no further than this quote. This is King David. After he's committed adultery and arranged for a man to be killed, he clearly wronged people in a terrible way. And yet in his deepest, most honest moment of confession, where does he look? Up. Against you only have I sinned. It's just this stark reminder that sin is fundamentally about a broken relationship with the divine. Okay, so if sin is the action, then where does it come from? What's the source? Well, to get that, we need to talk about evil. Think of it this way. Evil is the source. It's the underlying state of corruption. This anti-God reality that's just out there. It's anything and everything that goes against God's nature of goodness and order. Sin, then, is the expression of that evil. It's the verb to evil's noun. It's what we do when we choose to dip into that corruption. The sticky mud analogy. Okay. Here's how it works. Step 1. Imagine there's a pit of thick, sticky, gross mud. That's evil. It's the presence of chaos. Step 2. You go and you step right in it. You've now come into contact with it. And then step 3, you walk inside and you track that mud all over the clean floors, the white carpet, the furniture. That act of spreading the corruption, that is sin. Evil is the substance. Sin is the act of spreading it around. So we've got this problem, right? This chaotic, sticky mud. What's the opposite of that? Well, a divine blueprint. It's an ideal state. That's the polar opposite of all that chaos, built on two things, order and peace. This verse is basically the foundation for the whole idea. It's saying, point blank, that God's very nature isn't about confusion or disorder. It's a nature of peace, and that peace comes directly from order. So if evil is the chaotic mud pit, God's nature is the clean, structured, peaceful home. And this isn't just some vague idea. If you look at the creation story in Genesis, it's presented like a masterclass in creating order out of chaos. You see these patterns everywhere. God separates light from dark, sea from land. He gives the sun and moon a job to do. He classifies all of life according to their kinds. He even builds in a structured rhythm of work and rest. The whole thing is about creating systems, boundaries, and patterns where chaos can't survive. So we've got the problem, chaos, and we've got the ideal, order. The million-dollar question is, how do you get from one to the other? How do you fix this? And the solution that's offered isn't just about, wiping the slate clean. It's not just a pardon. It's much, much deeper. It's presented as a remedy designed to restore that lost order. A fundamental restoration of your inner spiritual order. It's about cleaning the mud off of you and teaching you how to walk around the pit in the first place. And where does a restoration like that even begin? Well, if you look at Jesus' teachings, especially the Sermon on the Mount, it starts with this very specific, very ordered principle. And it's a big one. Who you are is more important than what you do. Character precedes conduct. You have to get the inside right before the outside will ever follow. The Beatitudes? There aren't just a random list of nice virtues. They're laid out as a step-by-step path to building character. It starts with recognizing your own spiritual poverty, which leads you to mourn your state, which leads you to yield control to God. That then builds a hunger for his way of doing things. And only then, after all that internal work, does it flow into the outward actions of mercy, purity, and peacemaking. It's a blueprint for rebuilding from the inside out. So what's the result of all this internal reordering? Well, once that inner world is established, it naturally creates a new kind of outward influence. Your new identity changes your role in the world. And Jesus uses two really cool metaphors for this new role. First, he says you become salt. Now, in the ancient world, salt wasn't just for flavor. It was a preservative. It stopped rot. So this new character helps preserve moral order in a decaying world. Then, he says you become light. And light doesn't have to fight darkness. Its very presence just pushes it away, revealing truth and goodness. It's an influence that comes from who you are, not just what you do. So from the sticky mud of evil to the divine blueprint for order, it all boils down to this one central idea. Character precedes conduct. And that leaves us with a pretty challenging question, doesn't it? It's not just about what you did or didn't do today. The real question is, who are you becoming? What is shaping your character right now in this moment?